Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the MMI Watches Turret 300 meter Diver GMT. And this watch is currently on pre-order pricing until April 15th. And pre-order price is $399, and full MSRP is $469 after the 15th of April. So this watch is offered with 3 different dial colors: black, yellow, and then the ice blue. One issue with the yellow dial is it's a little bit hard to see the date, which is right here. So it's set for the 9th, which is not really the 9th, but anyway. Black dial is much easier to see, and the blue dial seems to be pretty easy to see. I'll leave a link in the description to the website. You can check out the different dial colors for yourself. So we have a flat sapphire crystal with AR coating. I've really come to appreciate flat crystals. I much prefer them over domed crystals. And this has a flat crystal. So you can see a sense of the AR coating here as I turn the watch to the side. So very easy to tell the time with a flat crystal with AR coating. So this is a yellow full lume dial. It has applied indices that are lumed as well. I'll show you the lume at the end of the video. The lume is very it's impressive. It's lume everywhere. We have a ceramic bezel insert that is lumed as well with C3X1 lume. The dial has a mix of C3X1 and X1 BGW9 lume. As for the movement, we have a Seiko NH34 GMT movement. It's an office GMT, meaning that the local hour hand does not change when you change the movement. So there's pros and cons to this movement. The pro is a lot easier to change the date because you can independently move the date and the GMT hand, versus if it was a jump hour GMT, then you can only change the hour hand and you have to cycle through changing the date. So first click out, it is a screw down crown. First click out is winding. Next click will be the date in the GMT. So let me zoom in some more here. Got which way changes what. So turning the crown counterclockwise, anti-clockwise is changing the date. And then changing it, rotating it clockwise will move that GMT hand. All right, let's screw the crown back down and then we'll try out the bezel action here. Oh, more about the movement. So the second hand is sweeping at 6 beats per second. It's around 41 hours of power reserve. The accuracy range is really wide on this, plus 40, minus 20. That's just how Seiko rates the accuracy of their movements. This movement is based on the 4R36 or the NH3536. Basically, they took the day window and turned it into a GMT hand. It's kind of my interpretation of how that works. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it, but that's why you won't see one of these with the day, date, and GMT hand, because they took the day function and converted it into a GMT function somehow. It's just a matter of the gearing, right? So ceramic bezel insert is a little bit hard to turn it because the bezel does not overhang the case at all. But, I mean, it's not terrible, but it could be a little better if it would overhang the case. A nice grippy bezel there. And it looks like I managed to line it up, I think. It's always a matter of perspective on this thing is lined up or not. So that's true for any watch, right? Sometimes I have issues with lining this one up. Looks like we're good today, though. So 316L stainless steel. It's mostly brushed, and then we do have these chamfered polished edges. These exterior edges are polished and chamfered, and then these interior edges are polished and chamfered as well. I like the look of that. It is a slab-sided case, so it may look a little thicker than what it actually is. But the flat sapphire helps with the thickness of the watch. Here's a look at the case back. Nicely engraved here. It's not a display case back. So you can see Turret GMT 300 water resistant NH34 sapphire 316L stainless steel, and then there's a number there. Looks like this is number 59 of 88. So since we're back here, you can see we have solid end links with quick release pins, solid links which are adjusted with screw pins. We do have a stamped and milled clasp. So this portion here is stamped, this is stamped, and then this portion here looks to be a milled stamping. And then we have 5 micro adjusts and the dual pusher, so nice and secure, and it's signed as well with the MMI logo. So let's talk about the dimensions, and then I will try it out on wrist here. Oh yeah, one more thing, the bracelet is fully brushed, so the majority of this watch is brush. So lug to lug, 47.1. It does have the female end links, but this end link does stick out just a little bit proud of the case, and I measured that around, I think it was 48.1, so nice and compact there. 40 millimeter diameter. That's measured at the bezel. 13.6 thick. It is a 300 meter dive watch, and the GMT movement does add a little bit of thickness, which I think is accounted for in that case back. 22 millimeter lug width, and the watch does taper, the bracelet does taper down to 20. 7 millimeter signed screw down loomed crown, 300 meters water resistant. And this watch weighs in at 168 grams, and I think my Submariner is 148 grams, so 20 grams heavier than the Submariner, same amount of water resistance, but the price, price is obviously way different between these two watches by 20 times more, somewhere around there. So let me show these two watches side by side, and then we'll get this one on wrist. So just to get you a sense of the size, actually I got the SKX here too. Let me show it off with all three watches here. And then you can see the thickness right on there. This is 13.5 as well. You don't have the GMT function, and it's only rated to 200 meter water resistance. 200 is, fine for me. 100 is fine for me, but 300 is better, right? So pretty close to the SKX. Well, the SKX is actually larger. The case is larger than the bezel. But let's see here. Yeah, pretty close in size with the bezel there. Submariner, 20 grams lighter. The SKX is lighter as well, but it has a jingle jangle cheap bracelet, right? Hollow center links and all that. So the Submariner is a little bit larger as well. 40, actually measures at 40.5 versus 40, and the lug to lug is longer, about a millimeter thinner. So let's get this on wrist, and then we'll check out the Lume. I'll compare this to, actually I'll get both of these in here. We'll do a 3-way Lume comparison. I'm sure initially this will look a lot brighter. It's got all kinds of Lume. But after a while, the other two will probably be a little brighter. So, as I mentioned, 47.1 lug to lug. My wristband is 52, 6.5 inch wrist. And you can see the thickness. It's not terrible. 13.5 is respectable for a 300 meter dive watch. So there we go. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really does help me out. And I just realized I didn't really zoom in on the dial, so let's do that real quick. And then we will check out the Lume. So you can see the applied indices, and then we have the 24-hour scale there, 1, 3, 5 for the GMT hand. And then we have that date window. I guess I did zoom in on this, but I was just talking about the date window and legibility. One cool thing about this date window is that is loomed, so I think we'll still be able to see it here. In the Lume comparison, none of the hands are covering that date, so we will see that Lume there. Alright, let's check out the Lume. Alright, so Submariner on the left, of course. Then we have the MMI Turret in the middle here, and then the SKX on the right. So yeah, the full lume dial, definitely a lot of lume. Not lacking for lume there. As far as telling the time in the dark, the Submariner or the SKX would be the way to go, but the Turret looks really cool with that full lume dial. So let me move the SKX off the table here, and then I'll zoom in so you can see that date cut out there. So you can see it is lumed right there above the 6 o'clock. So now it's set for the 16th. So you can still tell the date in the dark. Alright, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.